Hey guys, it's me, Jay Woods, and if you want to see how I got this little glamorous looking makeup using all drugstore products, just keep on watching. First, I'm going to get these eyebrows together, which they are looking a mess, so say a little prayer for me. Alright, I'm going to use the Rimmel Brow This Way eyebrow thingy. This is what it looks like. Is it going to focus? So it has two sides. One side is a powder. So one side is a powder and one side is a pomade. So you just go with the pomade first and you put the powder over it. And it comes with like a little tiny crappy brush, but you're gonna make it work, I hope. So this brow product definitely does work. The only issue is that it doesn't really like lay your hairs down. That's what I like about the dip brow. Like the dip brow is really opaque, but also helps you just like lay them hairs down. So it works a little bit better than a product like this. Like this one, it just has too much like, I guess, oil in it, which is good because it won't dry out, but at the same time, it's not really like laying down the hairs the way that I would like it to. Alright, so I applied the pomade to sort of like filled it in a bit. So I'm just going to take a little spoolie and just brush it out so it's not so intense. I don't like a harsh Instagram brow. I like sort of like a more softened, like natural looking brow. I think it's because my eyebrows are already so hairy that like I can't really draw on a brand new one because I got a whole lot of brow. They're super bushy sometimes. Alright, so since I brushed that out, I'm gonna go over it with the powder now. So I got these two Mario and Luigi mustaches going on right now. So just to carve it out, I'm gonna use the Maybelline Brow Precise. This is what it looks like. So it's like just like this little product you use to carve out the bottom and the top of your eyebrows. The one thing I don't like about this is that when you first get it, it's very sharp at the end, so you get like a nice sharp line. After a while, it sort of like softens, so you still get like a good, you can still clean up your brows, but it's not as sharp or as precise, and it's called Brow Precise, so it's like I should have more precision, you know? Yeah, just make a line on the bottom. So I know I look crazy, but this really does blend out like pretty nicely, so grab a brush and blend it. Okay, so they don't look like two fat caterpillars anymore, but they don't look great either. But you know what, we're just gonna move along. So I'm not gonna use a eyelid primer because I'm gonna be using these like liquid shadows. So I feel like if I put a primer and then I put like this liquid, it's like too many liquids, it's never gonna dry. So I'm just gonna go right into the eyes. I'm just gonna put one crease color, and instead of using an actual shadow, I'm gonna use the e.l.f. This is their Fiji Matte Duo. So it's a bronzer and a blush. So I'm gonna take the blush and I'm just gonna put that into my crease. Alright, now I'm actually gonna take a little bit of the bronzer as well and just like go over that because I don't want it to be too pink, but also want it to be too brown. I want it to be like, I guess, more neutral. I'm just putting a little bit over it. Alright, so now I'm going to take this. This is the e.l.f. Aqua Molten Shadows, I think they're called. This is the shade Liquid Gold. So I'm just going to put this on my lid. Probably like halfway or more, a little more than halfway. Okay, is it me or is this not that opaque? Like, I feel like I could definitely see my skin through it. I don't know if I didn't put enough. Go a little heavier. Okay, now we're talking. Alright, so I'm just gonna let this dry and do my other eye, and I'll be back. Alright, so the eyeshadow is dry for the most part. I think it looks a little bit patchy. Like, what do you guys think? I don't know how I feel about this. I definitely feel like it looks patchy-ish. Alright, so I'm gonna go in with this brown one. I feel like the brown one is definitely more opaque, so hopefully the brown will turn out better than the gold did. I'm just putting this on the outer corner. I'm realizing you can't really like blend this out with a brush. I don't know how you're supposed to use these damn things. They're like so annoying, but I guess I'm gonna let it get a little bit more dry, then I'm gonna go over it with a powder. Maybe that's what you're supposed to use, as sort of like a colored primer. Alright, so I'm just grabbing my Maybelline 24 Karat Nudes palette, and I'm going to take this matte brown up here. And I'm just going to put that over the elf brown situation. Hopefully this will work. Okay, so I was getting a little bit nervous, but I feel like the shadow definitely saved the look. So yeah, now I'm gonna just take this Maybelline Eyestudio eyeliner. So I'm gonna do a wing liner as I always do, because honestly when I don't have on my wing liner, I look in the mirror and I'm just like, who are you? So I'm taking this really nice, it's like super duper angled brush. This is by the brand Circa, which they sell in Walgreens. This is such a good brush. So I just make a line across at first and I just fill that in. Okay, so I did the line across, now I'm going to draw the little wing part. Alright, so I really like the way my liner came out, but I want it to be darker, so I'm just going to go over it with the NYC Liquid Liner, which I heard they're going to discontinue, and I'm just really confused about that because I'm like, isn't that like your bestseller? Like, I feel like their whole brand was built around this product. Like, that's like McDonald's being like, you know what, we're just going to stop selling french fries. It's like, what? But yeah, so I'm just going to go over it because this liquid is super duper dark and it's also matte, and I love like the way that looks. You remember when you were a kid and you would have to like trace stuff and you're like, when am I ever going to use this? Like, why am I tracing things? This is why. Alright? Because one day you're going to have to trace your cat eyeliner and you want it to look sickening. Alright, so moving on to the face, I like to apply a God. I like to apply a powder before I put on my primer and before I put on my makeup. And basically that is just going to absorb all of the oils that are in your face. So instead of applying a loose powder, I'm actually just applying baby powder. So I'm going to use this primer. This is the e.l.f. Hydrating Face Primer. So this is made for oily skin. I know you're like, oily, but it's hydrating. What? So basically if you have oily skin, you still need hydration. What you don't need is oil. So things that are usually like gel based, things that are usually gels are more water-based. So I'm hoping this is sort of like that gel type of texture because then I know it will work for my oily ass skin. Oh yeah, and it does look like a gel. So it looks like. So we're just gonna see. Feels nice. So this definitely is a silicone-y primer, but it doesn't feel too thick with the silicone. It feels pretty good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the LA Colors. What is this? Cover Up stick. This is the shade Fair. When I'm doing stuff like this, like covering up like acne marks, I love using a super duper light color, so that's why I'm using this. So I'm just gonna cover up like little spots I have from acne. Even though a lot of them are fading, thank goodness. I'm also gonna put some on the sides over here because my face is naturally darker on there. Alright, so I'm just gonna blend this off my finger. Now that I look like freaking Ashley Larry, I'm just going to go in with two shades. I'm going to go with the shade 120 and 130. This one is too light for me. This one is too dark for me. They're both the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless. So what I do is I use the lighter shade in like the center of my face, and then I use the darker shade around the perimeters of my face. I'm gonna blend this out with the Kaylin Oh Wow brush. I freaking love this brush. It's definitely a lot cheaper than like the Artiste and like other alternatives. I'm gonna link it down below. On their website, it's more expensive than it is on Amazon for some reason. I don't really get that, but yeah, I'm gonna link it because it's really, really good. So I blend out the lighter parts first and then I go towards the darker parts. Alright, so I'm just going to take this damp sponge and I'm just going to go over my skin, and what this is going to do is pick up some of the product, because in the summertime especially you don't want to have too much product on your face, because once you start sweating and getting oily and all that, your makeup's going to look insane. So I just sort of dab this all over my skin. It's going to help, you know, finish blending in the makeup, but it's also going to help take away some of the foundation so you don't have a cake face. Now what I do, which is the ultimate like life hack, it's the ultimate major key if you want to have a flawless, beautiful, all day matte makeup, is you need to take a powder. My favorite powder to use is honestly the MAC Studio Fix, but since this is a drugstore tutorial, I'm just going to use the Maybelline Fit Me. So basically what you do to sort of get flawless, poreless, matte all day skin is you just take a little like round spongy thingy like this, and it definitely works best if you take a sponge. If you use a brush, it's not going to be the same. So what you do is you just take the sponge, pick up some product, and you press it into your skin. Like I got this from Goss makeup artist, and honestly it's like changed my life. So you don't just like swipe it, you have to literally like press it. So I almost forgot, I'm actually going to use my lip plumper. This is the Candylipz little travel size thing. So yeah, when I come back, my lips are definitely going to be a lot bigger. Just in case you're wondering, no, I didn't get injections in like 2 seconds. But yeah, I have a full review on this. It is a crazy, amazing product. You're going to see when I come back. But yeah, just give me a couple seconds. Okay, so I'm back with my new lips. They look a little crazy, but they usually go down. So now just to highlight my face, I'm going to use the Maybelline Fit Me in Sand, and then I'm also going to use the Milani Retouch and Erase Concealer. This is the color Light. So I use light more so on like the inner part, and then I use this on like the outer part. So you can probably see like this color is lighter, which is why I put it on the inner part. Just gonna highlight the face better that way. So I'm gonna blend it out. So usually when you blend out your concealer, you're gonna have a little bit left on the sponge. So I just take like that left over and I just use it to highlight the rest of my face, and that's just a really good way to have less products on your face, because makeup could be a little bit tricky in the summer because your skin probably behaves a little bit differently. So I'm going to set with the Johnson & Johnson baby powder. I saw this video of It's My Riri doing this, and honestly she was just saying how much she loved it, so I tried it and it looks so freaking good. Like I can't even front. I don't bake with it or anything because, well, I never really bake, but I use just enough product to set it. Like it sets it, it gets rid of the little lines underneath your eyes. It's freaking perfect. All right, so once again I'm going to take this little e.l.f. situation and I'm going to go into the bronzer side. I don't know if this is supposed to be like bronzing and blush, or if it's supposed to be like contour and blush, but I'm going to use this as a contour powder, so hopefully it works out. And I'm also going to use the e.l.f. contour brush. I freaking love this little thing. Only $6. Okay, so this is definitely not good for the nose. Like on the cheekbone areas, I feel like it does a pretty good job giving it a little contour, but it has like a little bit of pink in it, I feel. So on my nose I could definitely see like the pinkness. On my cheeks, not really. All right, so I'm gonna highlight. I'm thinking of just taking the little Molten shadow, just putting that as like it's like a fake little liquid highlighter. Just blend it out. Okay, and I'm gonna go over it with the Wet n Wild highlighter. Oh, looks pretty good, right? I'm using this Mega Glow highlighter. It's one of the new ones. The shade is Precious Petals. I'm just gonna put my finger in it so I could apply some to my nose. Alright, now I'm gonna take this e.l.f. I believe this is a bronzing brush. Yeah, bronzing brush. These are only a $1. So I'm just gonna take this and go into the blush color. I've never used this before, but dang. It looks so good. It's like a perfect little glow. Alright, so I think I'm going to add a pop of color to my lower lash. So first I'm just going to add the NYX Wonder Pencil. Then I'm going to go over it. So I'm just going to put this on the lash line and the waterline. So this will give the shadow sort of something to stick to. Okay, so I'm going to take my Maybelline City Midi palette and I'm just going to take purple. Alright, so for the inner corner, I'm going to go back to my 24 Karat Nudes palette, and I'm going to go into this whitish color right here. Okay, so I applied some of my Nicole Guerriero lashes, and these are what the eyes look like. I'm really, really loving them. Alright, so don't be alarmed, but I put on my lip plumper again, and look at these crazy big lips. Alright, so for my lips, I'm first going to take really far alarm. Okay, so for my lips, I'm just going to take the NYX Lip Liner pencil. The color is Dolly Pink. This color is almost like an ashy pink, super duper bright. But I'm gonna go over it with the e.l.f. Tea Rose lipstick. Right, so I just removed my braids, but these lips are still insane. I think I'm actually going to take off this gloss and just put on the NYX Lingerie. Now this lingerie is actually a matte liquid lipstick, and you know, like matte liquid lipsticks, they sort of like suck your matte liquid lipsticks, they sort of suck your lips in, so hopefully that'll make my lips a little bit smaller. So we're going to try that out. Alright, so I unraveled my hair and this is our finished look. I actually think I like the look better with the lighter color, but the shade is also really pretty. So let me know what you guys thought. Let me know what are some of your favorite drugstore makeup products. And if you have any questions, leave them right down there. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, and I'll see you next time.